Hey guys, tonight we're going on a journey not into ancient temples or forgotten empires, but into something far more intricate and often just as dramatic: the human heart. We're going to talk about a love story that started to unravel not with a whisper, but with a crash, the crash of a simple ceramic coffee mug. It's a story about the moments we miss, the signals we ignore, and the way a single, seemingly insignificant fight can become a chasm you can never cross. I want you to imagine the scene with me now. The gentle hum of the refrigerator, the faint streetlights filtering through the blinds, and the sharp, echoing sound of porcelain shattering against a tile floor. A moment that seems so small, so fixable, but that you probably wouldn't survive without a lot of heartache. It's a story that asks, what if the end begins not with a cataclysmic event, but with a tiny, overlooked fracture? So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Let me know where you're listening from and what time it is for you. Now, turn off the lights, maybe grab a pillow, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. That you're standing in the kitchen, the scent of fresh coffee still lingering in the air. The mug, a silly little thing with a cartoon dinosaur on it, lies in 1,000 pieces at your feet. It's a mug you both bought on a whim at a flea market, laughing about how absurd it was. And now it's gone. You look at your partner, their face a mask of stone. It's not about the mug, of course. It never is. The real issue is floating in the air between you, a silent, heavy cloud of unspoken resentments and tiny, accumulated hurts. You remember the time you left your socks on the living room floor, or the way they always stacked the dishwasher wrong, and you realize this isn't just about a cup. This is about everything. The silence is deafening, punctuated only by the occasional sharp intake of breath. You wait for them to say something, anything, an apology, an angry word, a joke to diffuse the tension. But there's nothing. Their eyes are locked on the shattered pieces, but they don't seem to be seeing them. They're looking past them, into a distance you can't comprehend. The air grows cold, and you feel a shiver run down your spine. This isn't just a disagreement. It's a revelation, a sudden, jarring glimpse into a crack you never knew existed. You try to speak, to apologize for whatever it is that's truly causing this, but the words catch in your throat. You bend down, the sharp edges of the ceramic a painful metaphor for the moment. As you sweep the pieces into a dustpan, you feel their gaze on your back, but it feels less like a look of anger and more like a look of finality. It's a feeling you can't quite place, a premonition that something has been irrevocably broken. And it's not just the coffee mug. You finish cleaning up the mess, your movements slow and deliberate, and place the dustpan in the garbage. When you turn around, they're gone. The room feels empty, the silence now a tangible thing, a barrier that has been built between you in a matter of seconds. You sit at the kitchen table, the memory of their unreadable expression replaying in your mind. You wonder if this is what an ending feels like. Not with a shout or a dramatic door slam, but with the quiet, unsettling realization that something essential is gone, shattered into 1,000 pieces just like that dinosaur mug. You stay there for a long time, listening to the quiet house, waiting for them to come back and make a joke to tell you everything is okay. But they don't. And the silence stretches on, a profound, heavy silence that marks the true beginning of the end. The next morning, you wake up to the quiet hum of the house, a sound you'd always found comforting but now feels hollow. You walk into the kitchen, expecting the lingering tension, maybe even another fight to clear the air. But instead, you find a single piece of paper on the counter, a stark white rectangle against the dark granite. It's not a note, not a list of things to get from the store. It's a letter, handwritten, in a script you know so well, but that somehow looks different, more deliberate, more final. You pick it up, the paper cool against your fingertips. It's not an apology, not for the fight or the broken mug. There's no "I'm sorry" or "let's talk." Instead, it's a poem, a strange, hauntingly beautiful thing about a king who gives up his kingdom for the sea. You read the words, your heart pounding a slow, heavy rhythm against your ribs. The crown felt heavy, the scepter cold, a story of an empire left untold. The words are evocative, a little theatrical, and completely unlike anything your partner would normally write. They've always been more practical, more grounded in reality. This feels like a farewell, a message from a stranger. You read it again, searching for a hidden meaning, a clue. Is this a metaphor for your relationship? Are they the king? And is your love the heavy crown they've decided to shed? It feels so dramatic, so out of character. You remember the time you both got lost on a hiking trail, and instead of panicking, they just calmly pulled out a map and a compass. No poetry, no dramatic gestures, just a simple, practical solution. This letter is the opposite of that. It's all emotion and metaphor, a tangled web of words that leaves you more confused than you were before. You try to call them, but the phone goes straight to voicemail. You send a text, a simple "Are you okay? What is this?" but get no response. The letter feels like a ghost, a message from a person who is no longer there. The words are beautiful, yes, but they carry a weight, a sadness that makes your stomach clench. You read the last stanza again. He chose the waves, the salt-filled air, for freedom found in deep despair. You feel a pang of jealousy. Despair? Was that what they were feeling? And freedom? Was that what they wanted? You had always thought of your life together as a shared kingdom, a place of peace and safety. Now, this letter makes it sound like a prison. You leave the letter on the counter, unable to bring yourself to throw it away, but also unable to look at it without a sense of dread. The house feels emptier now, the silence a different kind of quiet. Not the expectant silence after a fight, but a profound, heavy quiet that signals the beginning of a different kind of life. A life where you are the sole monarch of a kingdom of two, and your co-ruler has just abdicated the throne with a cryptic, poetic note that feels less like a reconciliation and more like an official declaration of war, or perhaps surrender. The next few days are a blur of quiet, a profound stillness that settles over your home. You've heard of the silent treatment, of course, a weapon in the arsenal of lovers' quarrels, but this isn't that. This is something far more unnerving. There are no slammed doors, no icy glares, no passive-aggressive sighs. There is just nothing. It's as if a soundproof wall has been erected in the middle of your living room, a barrier that separates you not just physically, but emotionally. You try to initiate conversation, to ask about their day, to talk about the latest show you were both watching, but your words fall into a void. You get short, monosyllabic answers, if you get any answer at all. Remember the way they used to tell a story, their hands animated, their eyes sparkling? Now, when you ask them about their work, you just get a flat, "It was fine." The vibrant, talkative person you knew seems to have been replaced by a quiet, distant stranger, and then you start to notice the little things. The coffee mug incident fades into the background, replaced by a series of small, unsettling changes. They stop leaving their shoes by the front door, a habit that used to drive you crazy, but now you miss it. The small, silly post-it notes you used to leave for each other are no longer there. The bookshelf, once a chaotic but familiar jumble of your combined tastes, has been subtly reorganized. Their books are now on their own shelf, neatly arranged, a small but significant act of separation. You watch them from across the room, and it feels like you're watching a movie with the sound off. You can see their lips move, their hands gesture, but you can't hear the story they're telling, and you realize with a jolt that you don't even know what that story is anymore. The connection, the unspoken language between you, is gone. It's not a fight. It's a slow, quiet withdrawal, a pulling back from a shared life. You find yourself doing things to try and provoke a reaction, any reaction. You play music a little louder than usual, hoping for a complaint. You leave your socks on the living room floor, a deliberate act of defiance. But nothing. They just step over them, their face impassive. It's a chilling form of emotional amputation, a surgical removal of their presence from your life while they are still physically there. You feel like you're living with a ghost, a person-shaped memory of the person you used to love. You start to question everything. Was this always here? This distance, this silent chasm? Did you just never notice it before? Were they always so quiet, so self-contained? Or did something, some unspoken, unseen thing, shatter between you that night, just like the coffee mug? The silence becomes a character in your story, a constant, heavy presence that fills every room, every moment. It's a silence that doesn't just lack sound. It's a silence that is full of things unsaid, of words swallowed, of feelings that are being deliberately, meticulously hidden away. And you realize, with a sinking feeling, that the silent treatment isn't a temporary tactic. It's a permanent state of being, a new reality you're being forced to inhabit. The eerie silence continues for days, and you begin to feel like an intruder in your own home. You find yourself walking on tiptoe, holding your breath, as if any sudden movement might shatter the fragile peace. Then, one evening, you return home from a long day at work, and the silence is different. It's not the heavy, oppressive silence of the last week. This silence is final. You open the front door, and the air is still, the house completely quiet. "Hello," you call out, the words sounding strangely loud in the empty space. No answer. You walk through the living room, into the kitchen, a sense of dread pooling in your stomach. The letter, the strange poem, is still on the counter, but everything else is gone. The toothbrush from the bathroom counter, the favorite jacket that always hung on the back of the chair, the mismatched socks in the laundry basket. You run upstairs, your heart pounding a frantic rhythm against your ribs, and that's when you see it. An empty space on the floor where their suitcase usually sat, and the faint, sweet scent of their perfume still lingering in the air. The smell is a ghost, a reminder of a presence that is no longer there. You remember the time you both went on a trip and you accidentally forgot to pack your favorite t-shirt. They just laughed and said, "It's just a shirt, we'll buy a new one." This feels different. This feels deliberate. You walk into the closet, and the space where their clothes hung is now just a row of empty hangers. The emptiness is a physical blow, a void that has been carved out of your life. It's not a dramatic note on the pillow, not a goodbye written in lipstick on the mirror. It's just absence. The absence of their things, of their scent, of their physical presence. It feels like a vanishing act, a magic trick where the magician disappears, leaving no trace but a faint scent and a few empty hangers. You stand in the middle of the room, feeling the cold air on your skin, and you finally let yourself feel the weight of it all. The broken mug, the strange poem, the silent treatment. It was all a prelude, a slow and agonizing farewell. They weren't just pulling back, they were packing up, physically and emotionally. You sink onto the edge of the bed, the mattress still bearing the faint indentation where they used to lie. The scent of their perfume is still there, a cruel and beautiful reminder of what you've lost. You try to rationalize it, to tell yourself they've just gone on a trip, but you know in your gut that's not the case. The finality of the empty closet, the missing toothbrush, the hollow space in the living room. It all screams of a conclusion. You look around the room, and suddenly everything feels different. The books on the shelves, the pictures on the wall, the clutter on the bedside table, they're all just things, artifacts of a life that is no longer yours. You're left with a house full of memories and a heart full of questions. And the only answer you have is a faint scent and the chilling realization that you have been left behind. The hollow ache of their absence settles in, a cold and heavy blanket. You spend the next few days and a daze, going through the motions of your routine, but it's like you're moving underwater. You keep expecting them to walk through the door, to laugh at some silly thing on TV, to complain about your cooking. But they don't. The silence is now a constant, a physical presence that fills every room. Then, while you're mindlessly putting away laundry, your hand brushes against something in the back of a drawer you both shared. A small, square object wrapped in tissue paper. It's not a wedding ring, not a sentimental locket. It's an old photograph, the kind with jagged white edges and a faint yellow tint. You pull it out, your heart a drum in your chest. The picture shows a city you don't recognize, with a cobblestone street and a quaint cafe on a corner. The buildings are old, European maybe, and the sky is a brilliant, cloudless blue. The people in the photo are blurry, just a jumble of smiles and motion, but your eyes are drawn to the neat, elegant script scribbled on the back. It's a name you don't recognize, a name that is not theirs. It's a name you've never heard them mention, a person they've never talked about. You remember the time you both went to a tiny seaside town, and you saw an old photograph of a woman and a little boy, and you spent an hour inventing a story about who they were. You had thought you knew every story about your partner, every secret, every ghost in their past. But this photo, this strange city, this unfamiliar name, it's a new chapter, a new book you didn't even know existed. You turn the photo over and over in your hands, the paper thin and fragile. You try to place the city, to recognize a landmark, a unique building, but it's no use. It's a complete mystery. The name on the back is even more baffling. Who is this person? A friend? A family member? An old lover? The possibilities spin in your mind, a dizzying carousel of doubt and fear. Was this a secret they were keeping from you all along? Was this the real reason they left? You feel a pang of betrayal, a sharp sting of pain that cuts deeper than the hurt of their leaving. It's the thought of a life you didn't know, a past you weren't a part of, that stings the most. The broken mug, the silent treatment, the cryptic poem, it all suddenly makes a twisted kind of sense. It was all a cover, a distraction from the real story, the one in this photograph. The one about a city you've never been to and a person you've never met. With the old photograph tucked away, a new, unsettling feeling takes root. You try to reach out again, a final, desperate attempt to make sense of the ghost they've become. But when you go to their social media, their page is gone. Not just deactivated, but completely erased. Their profile picture, a goofy selfie you took at a concert, has been replaced by a generic gray silhouette. The posts, the shared jokes, the photos of your vacations, all of it gone. It's as if they never existed in this digital world. You remember the time you both spent an entire afternoon creating a shared photo album, painstakingly curating the best moments of your life together. Now, that album is just a blank page, a digital void. It's more than just a disappearing act. It's a rewriting of history, a deliberate erasure of a shared past. You scroll through your own timeline, and their face is there, a phantom in the background of 1,000 memories. But when you click on their tag name, it leads nowhere. The link is broken, a digital dead end. It's a chilling feeling to realize that a person can just disappear, not just from your life, but from the collective memory of the internet. You think about the countless hours you spent together, the inside jokes, the silly memes you'd tag each other in. All of it, just a memory now. A memory that feels less and less real with each passing minute. You feel like a witness to a crime of identity theft and historical revision. You try to find their friends to see if they know anything, but their profiles are all private, locked down, as if a silent message has been sent to everyone to keep quiet. It's a conspiracy of silence, a wall of digital stone. You feel completely alone, surrounded by the ghosts of a life that you now suspect was a carefully constructed lie. This isn't just a breakup. It's an exercise in being made to feel like you're losing your mind. The reality you've known for years is being systematically dismantled, piece by piece, both in the physical world and the digital one. The photograph is the only tangible evidence you have that any of this is real. Days turn into weeks, and the silence grows heavier. You feel like you're living in a vacuum, with no one to turn to, no one to share your confusion with. Then you remember your mutual friend, Sarah. You haven't spoken to her much since everything happened, afraid that bringing it up would make the whole thing feel more real. But you need to know. You need some kind of anchor in this sea of uncertainty. You remember her, always with a mischievous glint in her eye, a keeper of secrets and a teller of truths. You give her a call, your hand shaking as you dial her number. She answers, her voice sounding a little strained, a little too cheerful. You try to make small talk, but you can't. You just blurt it out. "Sarah, do you know where they went?" The silence on the other end of the line is a confirmation. She knew. You hear her take a deep breath, and you can almost see her wringing her hands on the other end of the phone. "I can't tell you," she says, her voice barely a whisper. "I promised. They made me swear." The words hit you like a physical blow. A secret, a conspiracy. This wasn't just a simple disappearance. It was a planned escape. The feeling of betrayal, which had been a dull ache, now sharpens into a searing pain. You remember the time you and Sarah and your partner all went camping, and a huge thunderstorm rolled in. Your partner, ever the calm one, just said, "We'll be fine, we'll wait it out." Sarah, on the other hand, was terrified, but she trusted your partner. She put her faith in them. Now, it seems, she's putting her faith in their secrets, too. You feel a pang of jealousy. Was their friendship more important than yours? Was their secret more important than your feelings? You don't beg. You don't plead. You just ask why. Sarah's voice cracks a little, and she finally gives you a piece of the puzzle. There was something, a story from their past. It wasn't something they could just tell you. They were afraid. Afraid? Of what? The word hangs in the air between you, a heavy, unspoken thing. Sarah won't say any more. She just keeps repeating, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." The call ends, and you're left with a confession, but no answers. You have a new clue, a new word. Past. A story from their past. It all circles back to the strange photograph, the unfamiliar city, the mysterious name, the broken mug, the silent treatment, the poem, the digital ghost. It all leads back to this one, singular truth. You were only ever a part of their present, not their past. And now, you're not even a part of their future. You feel like a character in a book who suddenly realizes they're not the main protagonist, but a minor supporting role in someone else's epic drama. And that drama, you realize, is what truly led to the end of your story. With this small, agonizing piece of information from Sarah, you find yourself wandering the city streets like a ghost, a detective without a case file. You're not looking for them anymore, not in the same way. You're looking for a clue, a sign, a hint of the life they lived before you. The city, once a vibrant backdrop to your love story, now feels full of strangers, each of them a potential keeper of a secret you don't know. You're sitting on a park bench, the same one where you first told them you loved them, watching the world go by. Remember that day? The sun was shining, the air was crisp, and the words felt like the most important thing you had ever said. Now, you feel like those words were said to a stranger, a person you only thought you knew. Suddenly, a flicker of movement catches your eye. In the distance, near a crowded market, you see a figure that looks familiar. A familiar walk, a familiar set of shoulders, a familiar way of running a hand through their hair. Your heart leaps into your throat, a frantic bird trapped in a cage. You stand up, your legs wobbly, and you start to walk towards them, pushing through the crowds of people. It's them, you're sure of it. They're wearing a different jacket. Their hair is cut a little shorter, but it's them. You feel a mix of emotions: relief, anger, confusion, and a desperate hope. You open your mouth to call out their name, but the sound catches in your throat. They turn, just for a moment, and you see their face in profile. It's not the face you know, not the one that laughed at your bad jokes or kissed you goodnight. This face is different. It's older, harder, with a sadness in the eyes you've never seen before. And then they're gone, swallowed by the crowd, a phantom in the bustling market. You stand there, breathless, your hands shaking. Was it them? Or was your mind playing tricks on you, seeing a ghost where there was none? You try to retrace their steps, but the crowd is too thick, the market a labyrinth of noise and motion. You look around, your eyes scanning every face, every person, but they're nowhere to be found. You're left with a question that feels more painful than their absence. Was that a chance encounter with the person you knew, or a glimpse of the person they truly are? And if it was the latter, did you ever really know them at all? The encounter, brief as it was, leaves you more unsettled than ever. It's not just a memory, but a haunting echo, a reminder that they are out there somewhere, living a life you know nothing about. The brief, fleeting glimpse of a familiar figure in the market only deepens your resolve. You're no longer just looking for a person, you're looking for a truth. The strange photograph, the cryptic name, the hint from Sarah about a story from their past. It all forms a fragmented map leading to a destination you don't even know exists. You decide to start with the name. It's a long shot, but you have nothing else. You spend hours online, sifting through databases, public records, and social media, but the name is too common, the city in the photograph too generic. You hit a dead end, a digital wall that feels impassable. Then, you remember a casual conversation you had months ago. Your partner mentioned an estranged relative, a great aunt who lived alone and whom they never talked about. You remember them saying something like, "She knows things I wish she didn't." The memory is a faint echo, a forgotten detail you never thought to question. But now, it feels like a lifeline. You find the address in an old phone book, a dusty relic you almost threw away. The great aunt lives in a small, quiet town an hour's drive away, a place you've never been. You get in your car, the old photograph and the strange poem tucked safely in your pocket, and you drive. The journey is long and silent, your mind racing with 1,000 questions. What if she doesn't know anything? What if she just slams the door in your face? What if she knows the truth, but it's a truth you don't want to hear? You arrive at a small, unassuming house with a white picket fence. An old woman with kind eyes and a face full of wrinkles answers the door. You introduce yourself, and you can see a flicker of recognition in her eyes, a mixture of surprise and sorrow. You show her the photograph, and she takes it in her trembling hands, her eyes clouding over. "I knew this day would come," she says, her voice a soft, weathered whisper. She invites you in, and you sit in a cozy living room filled with old photographs and the scent of lavender. She tells you a story, a completely different version of your partner's history. A story not of a happy childhood, but of a family secret, a tragic event that forced them to change their name, to move to a new city, to start a new life. A story of a different life, a different identity. A story that explains the fear, the secrecy, the sudden disappearance. You listen, your heart heavy, as she tells you about a past you never knew, a life they had to abandon, a family they had to leave behind. She speaks of a beautiful, kind person, just like the one you knew, but who was burdened by a past that was not their own. The broken mug, the silent treatment, the poem, the vanishing act, it all suddenly makes a twisted kind of sense. It was never about you. It was about them. It was about a past that was so painful, so heavy, that it could never coexist with the happiness of your shared present. The Greytan story, a tale of a hidden past and a life on the run, hangs in the air like a thick fog. You drive home in a daze, the old photograph anew, heavy weight in your pocket. The story, a tragedy in itself, answers so many questions while raising so many more. You finally understand the fear, the secrecy, the sudden withdrawal. But you still don't understand the poem. That strange, dramatic letter about a king and a kingdom and a sea. It feels out of place, a theatrical gesture in a story of quiet desperation. You remember the last line. He chose the waves, the salt-filled air, for freedom found in deep despair. You've read it 100 times, but it still doesn't make sense. You get home and you're exhausted, both physically and emotionally. You put the kettle on, and as you wait for the water to boil, you pick up the letter again, smoothing the creases with your thumb. You read it one more time, your eyes scanning the words, searching for a hidden meaning you've missed, and then you see it. It's so subtle, so carefully done, that you feel foolish for not having seen it before. The first letter of each line, if you read them vertically, spells out a message. It's a classic acrostic, a secret code hidden in plain sight. Find me alone. Be careful now. The words hit you like a punch to the gut. It wasn't a farewell. It was a plea, a desperate, quiet cry for help. They weren't leaving you. They were asking you to follow. The poem was a map, a series of clues designed to lead you to them, but only if you were paying close enough attention. You remember how they used to do a similar thing with grocery lists, hiding silly messages in the first letters of each item, a game you both played. This, however, is no game. This is a matter of life and death, of a secret so profound it had to be communicated in a code only you would understand. The betrayal you felt, the anger, the confusion, it all dissolves in a rush of understanding and a new, desperate fear. They aren't gone. They are waiting, and they're in trouble. The letter, once a symbol of your breakup, is now a symbol of your reunion. A fragile, handwritten lifeline thrown across a vast ocean of secrets and lies. You clutch the paper in your hands, the words a beacon in the darkness, and you realize your journey isn't over. It's just beginning. The acrostic message, "Find me alone. Be careful now," is a cold jolt of adrenaline after a long, quiet grief. The confusion is gone, replaced by a singular purpose. You have to find them. The photograph, once a symbol of their secret past, is now your compass. You study it again, this time with a new set of eyes. The architecture, the cobbled streets, the quaint cafe on the corner. It's a map disguised as a memory. You do some research, a frenzied blur of internet searches and old travel guides. The architecture looks vaguely like a specific neighborhood in a certain European city, a place known for its quiet, winding streets and artistic community. The cafe, you find with a stroke of luck, is an old landmark, a place that's been there for over 100 years. The name is on a faded awning, a detail you missed before. Your stomach clenches with a mixture of fear and excitement. This isn't a wild goose chase anymore. It's a mission. You book a flight, a one-way ticket, a decision that feels both insane and perfectly logical. You pack a small bag, the photograph and the poem carefully tucked away. As you get ready to leave, you look around your home, the place that was once a sanctuary and then a tomb. The empty hangers, the neat bookshelf, the memory of the broken mug, it all feels like a lifetime ago. You remember the sunscreen made from crocodile poop, a weird, gross detail from a documentary you once watched together. It's funny how the mind holds onto the smallest, silliest details when everything else is falling apart. You feel a pang of nostalgia, a longing for the person you thought you knew, but a new, fierce hope for the person you're about to meet. You leave a note for your friend, a quick text saying you'll be out of town for a while, and you promise yourself you won't tell a soul where you're going. Be careful, now, the poem had said. You take that to heart. This isn't a romantic gesture. It's a dangerous journey into a secret world. You get to the airport, the air thick with the roar of planes and the hum of a million conversations. But you're in your own world now, a silent, focused bubble. You board the plane, the world outside a blur of lights and motion. You look out the window as the plane takes off, and you think about the quiet house you've left behind, the silent life you've been living. You don't know what you'll find when you land, but for the first time in a long time, you feel a sense of purpose. You're not just waiting for answers anymore, you're going to find them. And for the first time since that first fight, you feel a sense of hope. You land in the foreign city, the air thick with the smell of rain and old stone. The city in the photograph is not just a picture anymore. It's a living, breathing place. You take a taxi to the neighborhood you identified, a quiet, cobblestone part of the city with narrow streets and buildings that lean in on each other like old friends. The cafe from the photo is there, a small, unassuming place with a faded red awning. You walk past it, your heart a frantic drum against your ribs, and you feel like a detective in a movie, a character in a story that's not your own. You feel a sense of both familiarity and profound alienation. This is the world they escaped to, the place where they reinvented themselves. This is where their new story began. You spend the next few days wandering, your senses on high alert, looking for a face, a gesture, a memory. You're a ghost in their new life, an observer from a world they've left behind. You show the photograph to a few people, asking if they know the person in it, but they all shake their heads. You're beginning to lose hope, to think that this was all a mistake, a delusion born of grief. And then, you see them, not in the market, not in a crowd, but in a small art gallery. They're back to you. They are talking to a group of people, their hands animated, a smile on their face. But it's a different smile, a new kind of happiness that doesn't belong to you. And their name, you hear someone call them by a different name, a name you don't recognize. A name from their past, from the old story their great-aunt told you. A name that belongs to the person they were before you. You stand there, frozen, a witness to a life that is not yours. They are a different person here. They are an artist, a creator, a part of a community you know nothing about. You remember the time you both went to a museum and they just stared at a painting for hours, a quiet, intense look on their face. You never understood what they were seeing. Now, you realize they were seeing a reflection of the person they wanted to be, the person they were destined to become. You feel a pang of jealousy, not of the people they're with, but of the person they are. They are free here, unburdened by the past, living a life that is honest and true, but it's a life that doesn't include you. The confrontation you imagined, the dramatic reunion, now feels hollow. How can you confront a person you don't even know? You're no longer looking for your partner. You're looking for a stranger with your partner's face, a ghost from a past they've so meticulously tried to erase. The acrostic message, "Find me, alone," now feels less like a plea and more like a warning. They weren't asking you to find them to be together. They were asking you to find them to understand why they had to leave. The sight of them, happy and whole in a new life, is a knife twisting in your gut. But be careful. Now, from the poem echoes in your mind, a clear warning not to just barge in. You spend the next few days watching, observing their new life from a safe distance. You learn their new routine, their new friends, their new passions. They are a painter, a potter, a musician, all the things they were always too afraid to be back home. You feel a new kind of pain, a profound sadness not for the loss of a love, but for the loss of a person who never had the chance to be themselves with you. You've been following them, a phantom in their new life, but you know you can't live like this forever. You have to talk to them. You have to demand an explanation. The poem said, "Find me alone." You wait for the right moment. You find them sitting alone in a small, unassuming coffee shop, the same one from the photograph. They are sketching in a notebook, a quiet, peaceful look on their face. You walk in, your heart a drum against your ribs, and you order a coffee, your voice a little shaky. You sit down at the table across from them, and they look up, their eyes widening in shock. The serene look on their face is replaced by a flash of panic, a flicker of fear you haven't seen since the first fight. "What are you doing here?" they ask, their voice a low, urgent whisper. You don't respond immediately. You just look at them, really look at them, and you see the person you knew and the stranger you've been following, all rolled into one. The look in their eyes is a mixture of relief and dread. They're happy to see you, but terrified of why you're there. You finally speak, your voice low and steady. "I got your message," you say, pushing the old photograph and the crumpled poem across the table. They look at the items, their eyes welling up with tears, a single drop rolling down their cheek. "I had to come," you say. "I had to understand." You don't yell, you don't scream. There's no anger in your voice, just a quiet, heavy desperation. They close their eyes, and you can see the weight of the past year, the past decade, the past lifetime pressing down on them. They open their eyes, and the look of fear is gone, replaced by a quiet, profound sadness. "I'm so sorry," they say, the words a soft whisper in the quiet cafe. "I wanted to tell you. I wanted to explain, but I couldn't." The confrontation you've been dreading, the one you've been playing out in your head for weeks, is not a dramatic, tearful fight. It's a quiet, heartbreaking conversation in a small, unassuming coffee shop. A conversation that feels like the end of one story and the beginning of another. You sit in the coffee shop, the silence punctuated only by the clinking of spoons and the low murmur of other conversations. You wait, your hands folded on the table, the poem and the photograph between you, silent witnesses to this moment. They finally take a deep breath and begin to tell you the full story, the painful truth that their great-aunt had only hinted at. It's a story of a different life, a different family. A story of a mistake made by a parent, a debt accrued, and a consequence that had to be paid by an innocent child. They tell you about a life lived in fear, of being forced to change their name and identity to escape a past they had no control over. The story is a slow, heartbreaking reveal of a life lived in the shadows, a life where happiness was always conditional, always temporary. You listen, your heart breaking for the person in front of you, the person who had to carry this burden alone for so long. You remember the time you both saw a documentary about some strange punishment from a historical time, and you had laughed about it, making jokes. Now you realize their life was a strange punishment, a sentence they never deserved. They explained that they fell in love with you, and that love was the most wonderful, but also the most terrifying thing that had ever happened to them. They were happy, so happy, but that happiness made them a target. It made them visible. The more they had to lose, the more afraid they became. The first fight, the broken mug, it wasn't about the cup. It was about a moment of clarity, a moment where they realized that their happiness with you was putting you in danger. They tell you about the decision to leave, a decision made not out of a lack of love, but out of an abundance of it. They couldn't bear the thought of you getting hurt, of your life being upended by a past that had nothing to do with you. The poem wasn't a farewell, it was a test, a plea for you to find them, but only if you were clever and careful, only if you could navigate the clues they left behind. It was a way of staying connected, a desperate hope that you would understand, that you would find them, and that you would forgive them. The full story is not a tale of betrayal, but of sacrifice. It's a story of a love that was so real, so profound, that one of you had to give it up to protect the other. And as you sit there, the truth settling in your heart, you realize that their departure wasn't the beginning of the end. It was an act of love. The painful truth hangs in the air, a final, heavy confession. You look at them, and you see not a betrayer, but a hero. A person who gave up everything to protect you from a past they couldn't escape. The love you felt was real, and the pain of their departure was a testament to that. You feel a profound sense of sadness, but also a strange sense of peace. The questions that have been haunting you for months are finally answered. The mystery is solved. You finally understand. But understanding doesn't fix things. It doesn't bring them back. It doesn't undo the years of secrecy and pain. The love you had was a beautiful, fleeting moment in a life that was never truly their own. And now, you have to let them go. They look at you, their eyes full of unshed tears, and they ask, "Can you ever forgive me?" You don't have to think about it. You just nod, a simple, final gesture. "There's nothing to forgive," you say, your voice thick with emotion. They smile a sad, beautiful smile, a smile that feels like a goodbye. The conversation is over. There's nothing more to say. The story is complete. And it's not the happy ending you always imagined. There's no dramatic reunion, no passionate kiss, no promise of a future together. There's just a quiet, bittersweet goodbye. You stand up, and they stand with you. You don't hug, you don't kiss. You just look at each other, two people who loved each other deeply, but who can no longer be together. You turn and walk away, leaving them in the coffee shop, leaving them in their new life, leaving them with their freedom. You walk back through the city, the beautiful, old city that now feels like a place of profound sadness. You are no longer a detective, a ghost. You are just a person, walking away from a love story that had to end so it could be saved. The pain is still there, a dull ache in your chest, but it's different now. It's not a pain of betrayal. It's a pain of a love that was too big, too beautiful, to survive in a world that was too cruel. And as you walk, you feel a sense of closure. The journey is over. The story is complete. And you are finally, truly, moving on. And now, as the story fades into a whisper, I want you to take a deep, slow breath. Feel the gentle rise and fall of your chest. The journey is over. The truth has been told. But in the quiet after the story, there is a kind of peace. A gentle understanding that some endings are just beginnings in disguise. The quiet house, the empty spaces, the bittersweet memories. They're just chapters in a larger book. They're not the whole story. As the final words of tonight's tale drift away, let go of any lingering sadness. Release the weight of the story and let it float away like a leaf on a gentle stream. The world is quiet now. Your mind is still. You're safe. The journey is over. The story is done. Now, close your eyes, drift away, and let yourself sleep.